Hello everyone, this is a review and my initial impressions of the Klaris Clear Ice Machine. It makes supposedly crystal clear bar ice, and crystal clear bar ice makes your drink look awesome but also taste a little bit better because the surface area, all that jazz means that your drink will melt slower. And basically the steps of how you make this ice is you fill up a mold, you place it in this hopper or this apparatus, and then 10 to 12 hours later, or it's really like, it says 8 to 12, but it's really about 10 hours in my experience, you'll get some clear ice made out of it. So this makes clear cubed ice. And in the past, I've used the spherical ice cube maker by Berlingzo or something. I don't know how you pronounce it, but nonetheless, you can get spherical ice cubes. And it's a lot of work, so you have to basically use this mold and this big container. As you see, I'm already kind of struggling with it. So just imagine when this is filled with water and it's really cold, you're trying to get this mold out. So yeah, this one does clear ice. This one does pretty good, but essentially when you want clear ice, it's going through a process of directional freezing. So this is very insulated, and then the water basically it will freeze in one direction and push the impurities out. So on the bottom, the impurities come down, and then you're left with clear ice. Now this is all good. It makes pretty good, and I've used it for a while. However, the downside is it takes up valuable freezer space. This is a pretty small freezer. It's not a full size refrigerator, but there's two of them. Two different doors for the Samsung bespoke refrigerator. But nonetheless, it takes up a good amount of space, and it also takes a really long time, about 24 to 36 hours to get 4 spherical ice cubes. So this one does a lot faster, and I've noticed this one is a lot more consistent. So after about 12 hours, or sorry, about 10 hours from this thing, you'll get this thing that says ice ready. So there's something called hold expire. So what happens is that there's a pool of water at the top. So this is basically where all the impurities are. You see some floaty water stuff. Then remember, to get clear ice, you have to have directional freezing. So in the instructions, you're going to take out this ice tray or this mold very carefully, and then we will dump it in the sink. And for best results, I recommend that you use either distilled water or reverse osmosis water. And also make sure your hands are clean, or at least rinse them off with clean water. I have a really high powered reverse osmosis machine. Typically, you don't usually would do this because this flows like a faucet. But nonetheless, make sure your hands are nice and clean, and then we are going to take the ice out. So next we have to go get a clean surface, so we'll use this cutting board, and then we'll kind of just figure out how we want to store this later. So let me dump out a little more water. And then all we do is there's already like little inserts. You just push down on this side. And then we can put the mold back in for another round. And then there's this little plastic insert on the bottom. So we'll need to re-rinse that, but essentially we have pretty clear bar ice. So my complaint, I guess, which I haven't been able to get consistent results, is that there are these little bubbles right here. They're not like contain impurity or anything like that. I think it's just a design of like how this mold or something like that, this insert creates some kind of bubbles. So you could let it sit for some time. However, I don't think it makes a difference because there's a little motor that spins this thing. It's like circulating the water or doing something. So I don't know, but maybe that's part of the magic. And then we can just put this on a plate or a container to put it in the freezer. So remember, when I clean surface, and then this one. So this is pretty much ready to go. So I'll probably rate this clear quality, probably out of 10. Give it maybe a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it is clear, much clearer than you'll get out of the refrigerator. But most importantly, it didn't take 24 to 36 hours to do, and a lot easier to do this. And it's pretty much automated. So after this, we just rinse these off, and then we just fill it with more water for the next round. I'll just use this thing over here just to rinse this off. and dry it off if you want, or just fill up another hopper. So yeah, here you go. Here's a plate of clear ice, ready to go for good drinks, and then we'll package it and put it in the freezer for future use. And yeah, this is a very good machine, a little bit on the pricier side. And honestly, it doesn't take up that much counter space. I recommend if you really like drinking cocktails, good whiskeys, or anything like that. So this is kind of like my go-to tumbler. Down there. We're good to go. All right, so if you have any questions or comments, or maybe some improvements in the workflow, maybe to get rid of these small bubbles, feel free to let me know. And as always, have a nice day.